This is the Caribbean Sea, and this is us sailing right through the middle of it. We are finally bringing our boat home from Panama all the way to Texas. We've been through a lot to get to this point. We put our life savings into this boat, then found some hidden damage that took a year to rebuild. After all that, we learned how to sail, and now, with a lot more ambition than know-how, we're finally headed home. But first, let's go back a few days so I can show you the craziness that led us here.
Too close, David. No, stop! Stop, David!
Fueling up your boat is kind of a no-brainer for most people. But for me, I've been putting it off because driving in close quarters is still a skill I was trying to master. Look at that, look at how close I'm getting. Look at the skill involved.
Why so serious? That face.
Nerve-wracking. We rounded up a solid crew. We had Tom the Kiwi, Steven the Patreon, who were with us from the San Blas trip, and we also have Greg that just came down, another long-term patron that was going to help us sail home.
Hey, you gotta lock it, It's gonna pull really hard.
They helped secure me to the fuel dock with no problems, and I'm starting to feel pretty good about this.
Sí, por favor. Our diesel tank is filled. We're gonna fill up the jerry cans as well, so we'll have an extra 20 gallons of diesel for whatever.
Whatever day.
$780 for 2 quarter tanks.
We're on the way back to our slip now, and I'm starting to feel real comfortable, but I failed to remember that I can still count on one hand how many times I have docked this boat. Once in Bocas del Toro, once in Shelter Bay Marina, 2 times here in Linton Bay, and this is gonna be the 5th time. And my lack of experience is about to show. I'm trying to avoid this reef that's just off to the right, so I'm hugging this corner really tight. A little too tight.
Close? Really close. Whoa, 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 David. Too close, David. No,
Can I
stop!
just say it's not that easy to stop a catamaran from going sideways? I can pivot like this, or go forward and backwards, but to go this, not that easy.
Too close, David. No, stop!
When you try
Stop, David!
your best, but you don't succeed.
Oh my goodness.
When you get what you want, but not what you need.
We did not hit their hole. We did not hit their solar panel, but we came this close. We did hit their
dinghy, but it just swung out of the way, and we barely missed the solar panel because it was mounted on this pivot thing, and he just swiveled it away at the last second. The trip hadn't even started, and I already hit another boat.
Sorry.
You just went over the dinghy. I think there was nothing. You were close to my solar panel. That was the scary.
That's Oh my goodness. I hate it when stuff like that happens and I'm freaking out, so then I don't film it. So I had it going, but I was not filming because I was gonna push our boat away from his. I don't even know how I'm gonna do that with all my power.
So this is how you get people to finish their work around here. I've gone to Lewis's workshop. I stole all his gear, packed it up in this wheelbarrow. I'm bringing it to my boat, and he's not getting it back until he comes and welds my last 4 points.
Our solar arch was the first project we started when we came here over a year ago. Lewis finished everything except for these 2 diagonal supports, and I'd been trying to get him to come for weeks.
Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast.
He got him tack welded on pretty quickly, but then we hear him scream a string of Spanish profanities.
Lewis dropped his phone into the water. He's a little bit upset right now. He's going to take a 15-minute break.
Dude, no problem. I can get it. I've seen this done before. My daughter dropped my friend's keys in the water, literally on this very dock.
Mary,
Sorry.
what happened?
So Maymay here decided to throw your key to the container into the water.
It's about 12 meters deep here, Mary.
Uh-oh.
Should we make a competition? Whoever gets it gets 20 bucks from Dave.
And I'm even more prepared for this because we just got this floating dive compressor thing.
This is the perfect time to test it out.
They did it with a breath hold. I'm gonna do it with an air supply, so this is gonna be easy. But once I start diving down and the visibility drops a little bit, I suddenly remember how their mission ended.
I'm not kidding. Just saw its tail. Its tail's like that big. It's so murky.
How big was the shark?
I don't know. I just saw its tail like this, just going real slow, like beside me.
Well, I can't go down anymore.
When you try your best but you don't succeed.
I tried to get myself to go back down there, but I couldn't do it. I'm not gonna lie, I was freaking out. And it's not like I can yell up and be like, "Hey Tom, I'm scared, can you come get this for me?" Let me explain. Two things. First of all, the thought of a shark sneaking up from behind me scares the crap out of me. And once it's in my head, I can't get it out. The second thing is, the sponsor of today's video is BetterHelp. Don't worry, this isn't where I tell you how I live on a boat in the middle of paradise, but I'm still sad inside. But I am sad when I'm in the water and I can't see very well and my imagination starts going wild. I'll start checking behind me every few seconds, and then I'll start seeing things that aren't there. And then the shallow breathing starts, which is the worst thing you can do when you're diving. The irony is we live on a boat, I know. So I had to do something about it, but who has the time to search for a therapist and then drive to their office just to talk about how I live on the water, but I'm still scared of sharks? With BetterHelp, you get a licensed therapist with the same expertise as an in-office one. You can message them anytime and do your sessions on the phone or video from anywhere you want in the world, like in the middle of the Pacific Ocean or from the mountains of Colorado. It's super easy to get started. I answered a few questions and they paired me up with a pro that matched my exact needs and preferences. My first therapist was good, but it wasn't the right fit. It only took a couple of clicks and they connected me with a new one. And this new guy is my style. He's got a super scientific approach and explained how the fear starts in my amygdala, which is designed to protect me. But in the case of the shark phobia, it's just overworking a bit. If you're struggling with something you don't want to share with friends or family, I get it. When I told Mary about my shark fear, she was like, "Come on, man up." And don't forget to take the trash out. Why not give BetterHelp a try? Head over to betterhelp.com/DavidShee or click the link below to get 10% off your first month of therapy.
Can you hand me the scraper? It should be up on the counter.
I'm already in the water, so I'm trying to make the best of it. It takes Steven a while to find the scraper, which is actually a good thing because it gives me a chance to calm everything down. I'm fine in the water as long as I can see. It's only when I lose visibility that I start imagining things. I go back down and I scrape the props, and you're basically just trying to clean everything off the surface so you get the most efficiency.
He didn't come back? No. I think he's dead.
Lewis was pretty bummed and did not end up coming back that day. Just to give you an idea, he only charged us $1,200 to weld this entire solar arch, so losing his phone probably wiped out half of his profit. But I had something that would cheer him up if he ever came back to finish the job. In the meantime, we sent Tom to the city so he can get groceries for the passage and also to see his girlfriend one last time. And I went looking for Greg, who was at the front of the boat rummaging around doing something this whole time. Greg is an electrical engineer, and not the boring kind, the kind that works with the Department of Defense. I'm probably saying too much already, but he has built some pretty badass fighter jet drones. 5-gut. That being said, our anchor remote broke on the last trip, and as a quick fix, I wired in this switch, like a huge switch. And the thing is, the switch could only be wired to go up or down, so I naturally picked up because gravity can pull things down. And the switch was so big that the case wouldn't close, so then I put a piece of plastic over it to prevent water from splashing onto it. It was really ghetto, is my point. Apparently, Greg had been up front fixing all of this. I would explain to you everything that he did, but I don't understand anything that he did. So I'm just going to show you some random clips of a fighter jet drone engineer working on my boat.
it.
So I took power off the motor hot lead through a small fuse out of this connector, and I just applied 12 volts to it. That goes out to that connector, which goes to the relay to power this, and that's it.
No idea what he just said. All I know is our patrons are wicked smart. And he also installed this wireless remote that I've had aboard for the longest time.
Oh, no way.
So they work. I just wired this in on top of it.
So this still works?
Yep.
Is what you're trying to tell me. I didn't lose functionality.
And then just on the cover.
There you go. You made that happen, man. That's it. That's Greg. Greg has tagged the boat.
After everything Greg did, I was so stoked to have him be on the passage home with us, but he actually got called away on a work emergency. He flew out the next day, and then we were down a crew member.
We're all here waiting for Tom to show up. He's gone to the city to see his girlfriend for one last time to say a farewell, and he also provisioned for us.
How much food do you really need for a passage? We're going to be on the water for about 2 weeks with a pit stop in Mexico that's right at halfway. We're probably going to catch fish on the way, so we don't need to buy that much meat. But then again, what if we don't catch anything? In the end, I told Tom to just go nuts and prep for the worst case scenario. And he didn't disappoint.
He spent the last 3 hours at the grocery store filling out 5 shopping carts, probably like 30 bags worth of stuff. Let's see what he's got. What's up, Joel? Yeah, man. All right, let's see what we got. Oh, yeah. Greg, you only have 3 bags? Come on, Greg. With those arms, you only got 3 bags.
this is all cans. Look at that.
No, I see
Look at that.
I see tortillas.
Guys, come on. Get to work, people. Get to work.
I just...
Hey, Didi boy, you helping? What you got? Good job.
Tom didn't just buy groceries. He bought cookware, plasticware, entire restaurant-sized jars of spices. He spent $972 of Steve's hard-earned money. Yeah, can you believe that? Steve paid for all of the food for this passage. Thank you, Steve.
We got a few cans, just a couple cans here. We got some plates, pasta. We've got an entire trash bag full of labels.
So you're supposed to pull all the labels from the can so bugs don't lay eggs in the paper? Or is it because bugs have already laid eggs in the paper and you're trying to get the eggs off your boat? Either way, we pull all the labels because that's what all the other sailing channels do. But does anyone know if this is really necessary?
We are headed to Portobello, City of Mushroom, as David calls it,
Portobello, which means mushroom, right?
to get exit stamps out of Panama.
This is a Zarpe, see? Zarpe. This is what a country gives you when you're legally allowed to leave their country. It tells the next country that you're legit, you don't owe any money from the other country, and that they can let you in. I already had one of these from like a few days ago. What we needed were exit stamps. Exit stamps are typically for when you fly out of a country in the, passport, but for some reason in Mexico, they want both. We drive to Portobello. It's like a field trip. Everybody comes just in case they want us to be present when they're stamping the passports. We go to the customs guy and he's like, dude, your Zarpe, that's no good. And I was like, what do you mean? I just paid $120. It was like $100 rush fee with the dude at Linton Bay, Fausto, you tricked me. So this guy was like, it's not $120, it's $20.
All right, do we get it?
Go ahead.
Everything?
I had to go back to that farmacia like 7 times to get copies. Every single time one person did something, the next person was like, I need a copy of that. And I couldn't do it all at once because each person was doing new things that then needed more copies. But we have our stamps in our passportes. We got it. We can go. We got crew list right here. This is the Zarpe. This is the Zarpe. Where's my Zarpe?
Uh-oh.
Did I lose it? She didn't give it back to me at the farmacia. See?
Go get it, hurry.
Heck.
Oh, I thought it was closed. Yes.
This is the paper we need. This is it.
Yes.
I love that song. I'd use it in every single video if I could. Okay, so I typically never listen to comments. I read all of them, I respond to most of them, but I never listen to them because half of them will be like, dude, you're an idiot, you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna sink and unalive your family at sea. And then the other half will be like, best decision ever, dude. Learn as you go. Bring everybody with you. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity. I like those people. But let's be honest, this is an older boat. I do have 2 life rafts and a bunch of emergency beacons. But do we really want to be wrangling 3 kids in the case of an emergency? Especially 3 that haven't actually lived aboard for a very long time?
The shirt is so tight on you.
She's so rude. We're shipping these guys home. Last second, we decided that just for that extra layer of safety, we don't want 3 kids and her on the boat in case, you know, some crazy emergency happens. We're gonna keep the big one. He's a really good swimmer. He listens. Joelle's here to take her to the city. She's got a flight tomorrow morning. We're gonna see her in Cozumel. Leave the kids at home with mom, and she's gonna help us do the passage from Cozumel back to Houston.
Yes.
Bueno? I love you, baby. This is the first time that they've been separate. They're not twins, but they've been together for as long as they remember. Okay, guys, love you, man. I hate saying goodbye to her. Get out of here. Love you.
Why can't they stay here and leave tomorrow on the plane?
Our crew is dropping like flies. Down 2 crew in 2 days.
I hate leaving them. The whole point of boat life was so we could be together more, but in the process of fixing this boat and getting it ready, we've had to be apart so much more. We were 6 hours away from leaving, and it was just all business from this point on. We brought the dinghy around the front of the boat all the way to the back, pulled the plug, and let her drain as we loaded her up. Then Tom got on the engines. We were planning on sailing the whole way, but you can't control the conditions out there, so we had to be ready. Tom filmed the entire process of his oil changes, and I don't have the heart to cut it out, so welcome to Tom's TED Talk on how to change oil.
One of the last jobs we're going to do before we leave is change the oil. Got my work hat. Just going to take that off to break the seal. Pick up the dipstick. And my hose goes into the dipstick hole. Pumping it out. So I'm going to use this tray. I'm going to get my new filter. Put a little bit of oil around the gasket and then wind that on. Just going to give that a few seconds to settle. And then I can check the dipstick. Just above the middle point between the lines. I'm going to run the engine for a few minutes. Let it settle. Test it again.
And then guess who showed up? Good old Lewis.
Yeah?
He was feeling a bit better, but still phoneless.
You love me?
But he's a man of his word. He came back to finish his solar arch even though I already paid him months ago. You know, a lot of people would have just ducked the work and waited till we left, but not Lewis. I gave him a hand while Tom finished up the engines. The conditions were not ideal for welding. It was super windy, and it needs to be not so the gases can surround your weld. At least that's what Lewis said. So my job was wind deflection. Once Tom finished the engine oil, we also checked the sail drive oil. Now, if you don't know what sail drives are, because I didn't for the longest time, sail drives are what you have when you don't have straight shaft propellers. So imagine an engine with a shaft that goes through the hull and then a propeller mounted at the end of it. The problem with the straight shaft is it takes up a lot of room. So then someone invented a sail drive so you can move the engine all the way to the back of your boat and have more space up front. So with the sail drive, you've got this Z-shaped leg that uses gears to basically bend the propulsion 90 degrees to go down and then bend it another 90 degrees to go backwards where the propeller mounts. That being said, sail drives need the correct amount of oil inside so that as it heats up, it doesn't overpressurize and then burst the seals and let seawater in. The problem we found is that the dipsticks on both of the sail drives didn't match.
Let's touch dipsticks. That's not even close, man. So I guess we err in less oil. You don't want to have too much sail drive oil in there because you reduce the amount of air, which means it can't compress, and then you can blow seals.
And that's everything I know about sail drives. And yes, we've had many broken seals.
Is this OSHA approved?
We don't know if it's the right way of doing it, but this is the way we're doing it.
We got this ladder supported right here. It's on the boat. It's the only way to do this. Tom's got it supported so it's floating. So as the boat moves forward and backwards, we can adjust. Lewis, you're the shit. No. In English, tú es mierda es bueno. Like, you are the shit. Yeah. He thinks I just told him he's a piece of shit. No, I said you are the shit. In America, you are the shit is a good thing. Here, apparently, it just means that you are shit. If you need a welder and you're in Linton Bay,
Don't use Louise.
hit me up. I'll give you his contact info. He is Jose Luis Rodriguez.
Así es. Thank you.
You ready? Boo, let me tell you the rule right now since I didn't tell you earlier. When we're sailing at night, if it's dark, you don't come out. Okay? You're allowed to stick your head out the front window, stick your head out the door, and scream for one of us to come get you guys.
I just say, Baba, can you come down here?
Exactly. And I know I can trust you. That's why he got to come on the passage and May and Didi Boy didn't. We have been here for 15 months. The original 3 to 4 weeks. So we're gonna spend a good 3, maybe 4 weeks here fixing everything. Has now become 15 months, but it is ending today. We are leaving Linton Bay. Cruising at about 2,000 RPMs, going directly north.
We're on our line right now, dead north for the next 3 days.
Oh, it's rocky out here tonight. All right, Tom has got first shift. Steven's already down below sleeping. I'm gonna go sleep a little bit, set an alarm for 2 hours. Good night.
The first couple of days were a bit of a blur. The waves were hitting us from the front, the wind was coming from the side. It was a miracle none of us got sick because the boat was literally rocking forward and back, up and down, and it was also rolling left and right at the same time. It felt like we were in a washing machine. There were drinks falling and exploding, we lost the veggie hammock, and everything on the counters fell over. But I was loving every second of it because I was finally sailing my own boat and we were headed home. Mary actually had it rougher. She came home to a nasty mess in the downstairs bathroom.
I get home to this, not sure what is happening. There's water that's clogged. Don't know where the water is coming from because these were off and it has run all the way down here. I found water all through here. Shit. Oh, it's coming out of there. What is happening? Help, guys, help.
Did she call an emergency plumber and spend $500? She most definitely did not. She messaged her Patreon WhatsApp group. They helped her. She fixed the whole thing herself. Dude, my wife is amazing. I'm so proud of her. More because she saved us $500. Turns out it was the AC overflowing into the drain, but since it was clogged, it overflowed out of the sink.
Yes, I did it! I did it all by myself. Well, with the help of the Patreons, of course.
By day 2, we were on a roll. Do a 2-hour watch, take a little nap, catch a little fish, and repeat. I woke up to Tom reeling in this tuna.
I think there's a fish on. The engine just cut down. Yes, I knew it. Ooh! It does have a big eye.
And then I pulled this puppy in a little later.
What kind of fish is that?
Tuna. Looks like the same exact kind we had before.
The seas were still all over the place, but I think that's why we were catching so many fish. We didn't have the Starlink set up yet, so we were totally disconnected, but it just meant that I actually got to hang out with my son with no distractions. Boo learned how to tie a bowline knot in exactly 8 seconds. And Mary learned how to replace a toilet valve. Yes, more plumbing issues in a totally unrelated bathroom.
Yeah, baby. Let's do it again, May. Flush that toilet.
Okay.
Up until this point, we were getting absolutely beaten up by the ocean. But by the end of day 3, things calmed down a bit, and we got a taste of some super smooth sailing.
We've been heading pretty much straight north since we left Panama, and it's been hectic actually. It's just been like a washing machine. We basically turned northwest of the coast where Honduras meets Nicaragua. Swells behind us, pushing us along, so it's a lot more comfortable now.
The seas are calm. The wind is blowing just
About 15 knots, and we're doing 10 and a half. We're kissing 11. We're making up a lot of ground now.
But now we had to face a different kind of problem because we were coming into pirate territory. Not like organized pirates, like the R kind, but more like opportunistic fishermen that just want to rob you. They probably won't hurt you, but they'll definitely steal your stuff, but they'll probably leave you with your boat. Their range is about 160 miles off the coast. At least that's where the last reported incidents of attacks were. I was considering two things. Number one, we don't have insurance on this boat. We had insurance while we were on the hard working on it in Panama, and we also have insurance once we land in the US, but this passage was not covered. It was way too expensive. And the second thing is I have my son with me, and I can't even imagine letting something like that happen to him. So we decided to play it extra safe, and instead of 160 miles off the coast, we decided to go 200 miles off the coast, just for that extra buffer of safety. And on top of that, at night, we decided to turn off all the lights.
No moon today. What you see on the screen is pretty much what I can see out here. Nada.
So if someone was close, they wouldn't be able to see us. There are some risks with that, because you could hit somebody else that has the same idea and doesn't have any lights on. But what are the chances of that in that giant ocean? We didn't have any issues with the boat on this trip. It wasn't until day 5 that we had a minor thing where we ran over some fishing line and a float, just randomly in the ocean. Luckily the engines weren't on, otherwise it would have gotten sucked completely into the prop. We've dealt with that before, it's not fun. The boat's just bouncing around and you have to cut it out literally strand by strand.
Trying to like saw away at it.
But in this case, the hardest part was putting the sails down.
How do you think that got caught?
Oh, someone threw something in the ocean. This is another reason why we don't throw trash into the ocean.
And not more than an hour later, we come across this giant seaweed patch just out in the middle of nowhere. And Tom is like, oh, let's go swim in it. I'm still over here recovering from when I was trying to get Lewis's phone from the shark-infested marina waters. But when am I gonna have an opportunity to swim under a seaweed patch at 13,000 feet? So I knew I had to try.
All right, we're facing our fears. Sails are down. We're gonna go dive under seaweed patch. Full disclosure, Tom, I just cut my finger on the propeller.
Like blood in the water, you mean?
Yeah, so just say.
This is actually my worst nightmare.
Really?
Legit, yeah.
Why?
Like the middle of the ocean, just jumping in next to a big weed patch. I don't know, it's just, growing up, this is what I would be most scared of.
I guess I'm not the only one that needs better help. Here you go, Tom. Use my code. I'm just glad that he was so verbal about being scared, because that means I got to sit back and kind of like pretend I wasn't, when in reality I was terrified. But I have my son sitting right next to me. I'm trying to set a good example for him. You gotta try new things. You can't let fear rule your life.
Terrifying. Terrifying. Oh, it's so pretty down there. I love Cozumel. Dude, let's stay.
Light blue.
We made it.
Yes, we made it. We made it. We made it. Yes.
I didn't know you were getting me.
David's here. He came so fast. Where is he going? Go, man, go, 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 go.